Greetings everyone, it's Pastor Maggie Alinane Msowoya, and I welcome you to our episode on child sexual abuse this week. And firstly, I would like to say that every child has needs in their lives, and in the last episode on child sexual abuse, I shared on how offenders usually prepare the children for the abuse. So, sharing further, as someone who did child development and psychosocial, I want to share a little bit on the needs of the children, and I will connect it to what I want to share in today's episode. So, firstly, I want to tell you that every child has emotional needs, or we also call it mental needs. They have physical needs, spiritual needs, and they also have the social needs. So on social needs, we talk about issues of acceptance. They need to feel accepted, issues of belonging, and issues of culture, issues of identity. They all fall under social needs. And on the physical needs, these are needs that most of you already know, like the shelter, the food, the healthy care, and other things. And while on emotional needs, there are things like parental love, things like security, things like friendships. All these are needs. And on spiritual, the children need to feel hope, to have hope. They also need to feel free, like to have freedom. And on all these things that I've mentioned, they all incorporate into their development rather. So as I continue, I want to share with you how, if one of these areas is not well taken care of, it can affect a child and contribute into abuse. And to be specific, there are different types of abuses, but remember, I will tackle on sexual abuse. Welcome back. Now, having said what I said at the beginning of the episode, I want to tell you that all the needs that I mentioned, it means every child needs those needs to be met, and we call this holistic care. So you can't be someone who is only offering emotional care to your child while neglecting their physical needs. You also can't concentrate on the spiritual needs while neglecting their mental needs, even social needs. So it has to be holistic, all-round needs, or all-round care. So the interesting part now is that this care is something that cannot be given by one person alone, not even the parents alone. For school-going kids, not even this school alone, not even the teachers alone. So for all the physical, social, emotional, spiritual needs to be met in a child's life, there are people that need to play a role. And the government is there, organizations are there, the communities where the children come from are there, friends play a role too, the church, the schools, the police, the families where they come from, they all play a role. And this is where I will now come in to explain why we are talking about this in today's episode on child sexual abuse. Greetings everyone, welcome again to our episode this week on child sexual abuse. And in the clip that has just passed, I was talking about a child having different needs in their development, and I said all these needs are supposed to be met for the child to really develop well and be protected. So there are spiritual needs, there are physical needs, there are social needs, there are emotional needs. All these, a child needs to have this holistic care. So I shared to say that when a parent or a guardian only focuses on giving a child one area of their need and neglecting the other, it has a lot of chances in contributing into a child being vulnerable to child sexual abuse. So today I will mention a number of some of the reasons how when such areas are not met, they make the children vulnerable to sexual abuse. And just to mention but a few, there are things like substance use by the parents or guardian, unresolved family issues, difficult bonding and nurturing the child, trauma by the guardians, life situations, and many other things that I'll keep unfolding as we continue in other episodes. But today I'm going to talk about stressful home environment. Stressful home environment. When a home is not really giving the child the right environment, when a home is stressful, it has a lot of chances in affecting the child's upbringing, the child's development, and as a result, it has a way of affecting the child and making them vulnerable to being abused sexually. So when we say this child is vulnerable, in other words, it's like we are saying they are capable of being hurt, they are capable of being wounded. So stay tuned as I continue to share with you on how being having stressful home environment can contribute. Yes, so today, like I already said, I will dwell much on one way on why I shared that a child needs to be nurtured in all areas. So today, stressful home environment. What do I mean? What it simply means there in connecting it to sexual abuse is that kids easily become vulnerable to adults who promise them security, attention, because when a home is a stressful environment, when the parents or the guardians are not giving that conducive environment for the growth of the child, the kids, even though they are young, they start feeling more safe with people that may want to show them that attention, and also those that may want to promise them security, though they have other things attached to that. So because they are only children, they don't get to realize that the people, the adults, are doing that to abuse them. So as a parent, you need to be aware of this, and you need to be aware that the stressful environments that we put ourselves in end up affecting our children in ways that we cannot understand. I know there are times when it's out of your control, but I'm here to let you know that there are certain things that you can learn and you can do that may still help you not to expose that to your children. Why? It's because most of the times when you are stressed and the children are able to see that, it becomes hard for them to open up to you on issues, because as a child they already see you being stressed already, so they feel like I'll only add some more trouble on mommy's mind, I'll only add more trouble on dad's mind. So because of that, they end up confiding in other people who ends up taking an advantage over them because they are seeking attention and they are looking for someone to talk to. So as I conclude on this issue of stressful home environments contributing unto making the children vulnerable to sexual abuse, I want to say that this usually happens because in a stressful home environment, there is what we call poor communication. So in an environment where there is poor communication, the children are not free to go to their parents to open up, like I already said, because they feel like you're already stressful, you already have a lot on your table to sort out. The children end up not feeling free to open up with you. So they end up distancing themselves, and then other adults end up taking the advantage. And in a previous episode, I ever talked about the offenders, that they groom the children for the abuse most of the times. So in stressful home environments, when when the offenders notice such, they end up grooming the children by giving them the attention that they lack from the parents. So as a solution, I want to tell you this: as a parent, you need to initiate two-way kind of communication with your children, no matter the age. No matter, even if you feel like your child is just 3, 4, 5 years, you feel like they are young, but you can initiate two-way age appropriate discussions with them. You can initiate conversations with them that will be appropriate, and also they will fit their level of maturity and also understanding. So for example, you may ask your children things like, and the questions should be open-ended, not closed-ended. In open-ended communication is where you give room for the child to open up, to respond and explain more. Whereas closed questions, it's more like when they answer, they cannot go anywhere. So in open-ended questions, you may ask like, you may ask your child's feelings, you may ask their interactions, you may ask their day-to-day experiences. So obviously, as you're asking them their day-to-day experiences, they will be able to end up opening more. They may end up even disclosing certain things you never knew. Today I met uncle so. Uncle said this, uncle said that. Why? It's because you have initiated that conversation, but it is also age appropriate. The same with interactions. You may say, which people did you interact with today? So you may even link it to school. Who did you interact with today at school? How was it? In so doing, the child may innocently end up disclosing certain things. So as a parent, please make sure your home environment is very good and conducive, and it is not making your children vulnerable to sexual abuse. We'll continue in our next episode. Thank you so much for being there. And if at all you need any help as a parent or as a child or as a sexual abuse survivor, feel free to contact us. We'll be more than happy to help you. Till we meet in the next episode. You were with me as usual, Pastor Maggie Alinane. Bye-bye.